and it's 2020, and we have an incredibly strong community called the LGBTQ community. We are well respected, we are powerful as fuck, strong, and we have a lot of pride, and we're constantly standing up and celebrating that pride.
It's Pride Month.
June is the official month to celebrate and show support
for the LGBTQ plus community.
But it hasn't always been like that.
The first Pride was a riot, so it literally started with so much strife and so much anguish.
The first Pride March took place in 1970, and it wasn't a parade, it was a mass protest.
You know, I was born in 1965. Back then, we were called faggots, lesbians, and dykes. Sinners, going to hell, disgusting, and we should be killed.
People marched against the abuses towards members of the community at the hands of the police and demanded equality.
Being able to walk in the street and be gender bender, know that there was people that were arrested because they were walking around the streets like that.
I think about how proud I am of this community for how we show up for each other and fight for each other.
Thousands took to the streets to show their support, but there were no floats, costumes, or music.
The protest took place in New York, and it was organized to commemorate the first anniversary of what came to be known as the Stonewall Riots.
This community has been oppressed, and they deserve the same rights that the rest of us have, and being outspoken about that.
In the 60s, police raids on gay establishments were commonplace.
But in June of 1969, after the brutal raid of the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village,
the community reacted, pushing back against the authorities.
So that's why we have to fight to try to tell the world that we are humans, normal humans. Science used to believe that being a gay person or a different sexual orientation was an illness.
By 1972, huge marches were taking place in more than 10 other cities around the country.
What first comes to mind when I hear the word pride is all of the people who came before me, who fought, struggled, and even gave their lives so that I could enjoy the freedoms that I enjoy today.
Today, the cultural landscape surrounding the LGBTQ plus community looks very different.
We live in a world that is diverse. We live in a world that comes with people with different identities, colors.
I think from the entertainment industry standpoint, we have been screaming and yelling about representation mattering for a couple of years now, and we mean it.
In the US, general support for the same-sex marriage has doubled since 1996, and it sits above 63%.
Education is the most important thing in really truly becoming more and more inclusive.
When I got to Elena, I was 18 years old, I had just moved to LA, and honestly, I was rather ignorant about all of the issues and movements and the lack of representation for the LGBTQ community.
Internal strife that I had with myself. I didn't want to be gay when I was coming out. I was like, I don't want to choose this life. I never chose it, it chose me.
As of January 2019, it was estimated that the LGBTQ plus population had grown to be 4.5% of the whole.
We're proud of who we are, proud of what we become, and proud of the things that we're doing in life. Proud of our sexuality, proud of it all.
Latinx composed 21% of the community, becoming the second largest demographic within the population.
It was just kind of difficult to deal with it with my parents, who are both Latina and Latino, Mexican parents. It was just hard to understand where each other was coming from. So that was the biggest difficulty, was kind of getting through it with my family. But now they're my biggest supporters and my biggest cheerleaders.
Yes, the Latin community has become more and more embracing of the LGBTQ community, but we can definitely continue to push forward.
People have grown much more comfortable self-identifying as LGBTQ plus in recent years. The growth is most prominent amongst millennials.
I chose to be my most authentic self, and I'm showing the world that this is who I am, this is me, and I'm not going to change that for anyone. 65%
of the self-identified LGBTQ plus Latinx are millennials. 38% between the ages of 18 and 24.
Polls also show that younger people have a better outlook towards the future of the community.
Nothing stays forever. If you're suffering, if you have anxiety, if you don't know what is gonna happen, things are gonna get better.
Continue to spread love and individuality. That is what pride is to me.
Over 13 million people identified as a part of the LGBTQ plus demographic.
Now, there are an estimated 700,000 same-sex couples with, listen to this, 114,000 raising children under 18.
There are 1.4 million people who identify as transgender in the US.
Pride Month is presently a mix of celebration and support for the advancements that the LGBTQ plus community has made, more than a protest against its obstacles.
I think pride, it's about celebrating who you are, accepting yourself as you are, loving yourself.
A time to really truly reflect why it's important for people to be loud about their pride.
Acceptance, self-respect, confidence.
The connotation has flipped and the demonstrations have taken a much more positive stance.
Insane admiration for the LGBTQ community. I'm just in awe of them, and it's the most empathetic, open-minded, open-hearted group of people that I've ever been embraced into, and I feel so insanely lucky.
It has become a celebration of love, diversity, acceptance, and support.
And I remind myself of what that gay Oscar Wilde said. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
You don't feel ashamed, that you don't feel bad or less because of what you are.
If things have improved so much, why is Pride Month still necessary?
We need to live in a society where everyone feels part of it and not trying to be someone or something else that they aren't.
Too often, lives are hidden in shadows, and it's literally life-saving. Being visible is literally life-saving.
So there's so much oppression and so much strife that happens that it's really, really important to just shine a light on, people and their stories.
When we become one world, a true one world is that one that accepts and respects when another person is different.
Based on areas like discrimination, religious exemptions,
healthcare, and criminal justice,
at least 13 of the 50 states are still considered skewed negatively
towards the LGBTQ plus population.
It really all comes from the fear of the unknown, from thinking that someone's way of living is and should be the only way there is. That is completely wrong.
We have to change the way we see our roles. We have to change the way we see families. We have to change the way we see love.
Talking to our community, talking to our families, especially our elders that tend to be a little bit more stuck in their ways. This community has gone through a lot of hardships like we have, and why would we want to put that on anybody else when we ourselves know how awful it is?
As Latinos, we've come so far in the LGBTQ community, and it's been such an amazing thing to see. But things I feel we can improve on is just continue to love and support our families. It's really hard, especially I feel for macho Latino men to accept their gay son.
According to the Gay Law Family Center of California,
Pride demonstrations push for policy changes both directly and
indirectly, and therefore continue to be an important agent of change towards equality.
That if you get the chance to experience Pride Month with this community, that you absolutely should.
We are a community and we're chasing for respect, nothing else.
How important it is to celebrate Pride, how it is important to focus on those people that are often left out of the mainstream conversation.
Remember that love is the most amazing weapon to fight against hate, against everything.
It's who we are, and standing behind that is what has got us from here to there. So don't forget that.
And I'm so proud to be part of the Latino community. Te amo mucho. Mwah. I love you.
Bueno, ustedes ya saben que acá en Latinx Now les tenemos siempre todo lo que tienen que saber y lo que no tienen que saber también.
Sí, estamos hablando contigo. All you have to do is press a button. That's it.
Así es. Queremos ser amigos, por favor. You want to be my friend? You want to be her friend? Yes. suscríbanse. Ya.
De Cristian nadie quiere ser amigo, pero bueno.
Igual, suscríbanse.
Subscribe.